Let me do a Spotify top podcasts real quick, because I'm pretty sure it's like Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan or something, right?
Yeah. Up there.
So Call Her Daddy is number one, followed by Sean Ryan. What's the Sean Ryan show? I'm not familiar. It's a very big podcast. Former Navy SEAL, CIA contractor, founder of Vigilance Elite. We tell real stories about real people from all walks of life. We discuss the ups and downs, wins and losses, successes and struggles. So the reason I bring that up is the number one show among women is Call Her Daddy. The number one show among men is Sean Ryan show. Why is it? And Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson, not too far after. Candace Owens, number 6. Guys listen to shows like this. We are talking about politics. We are talking about policy. We are talking about voting, what this country is going to be. And women, and not all women, I'm not saying all women, but the most popular podcast for women with a female-dominated audience is Sexual Degeneracy.
So as the woman expert here, let me speak over Hannah Claire about this. I believe the reason for that is because women are very interested in relationships, but in our disgusting backwards culture, people can only contextualize male-female relationships in the most degenerate, perverted sexual ways possible. Yep. And so that's basically all that there is for women to hear any kind of exploration of male-female dynamics.
I agree with you. And I actually think this speaks to why so many women are interested in true crime. True crime is the examination of some legal components, right? And it can be brutal, but it's also like, why did people in this social group act a certain way? Why was this person psychologically drawn to commit this kind of crime? It really is about the look at the human experience. And I think that is ultimately something women are appealed to. I mean, women are social, empathetic creatures. I don't think that's bad. But to Seamus's point, there are very few options in terms of like, what else can we look at? I know one of the fastest growing podcasts that I've listened to among women or had recommended to me is a show about gossip. And gossip is obviously stereotypically something women are interested, but it's really always stories about how people are interacting with each other. And I think these things are not necessarily bad. Women shouldn't be demonized for being interested in knowing how societies work. But I think it is sort of misguided. It's taking advantage of something. You know, girls will go to shows like Call Her Daddy because they're like, well, I want to be in a relationship or I want whatever. And the advice is not good, but no one is there to tell them like, hey, it depends on what you're looking for. If you want a very sex liberal, like feminist lifestyle, take this advice. But if it's not what you're looking for, then maybe this is not the podcast.
I don't think we need to overcomplicate things. It's really simple. Sex sells across media. And this is a form of it. It's not explicit. She doesn't release any videos or pictures, but she talks about the actions. And this is almost a female equivalent to porn. Women prefer romance novels, podcasts about sex. Men prefer the overt visuals about it. But it's a sort of equivalent to that.
I also think Kamala's also one of the reasons Kamala is not likable, because she can't really talk about her personal life, right? She's married to Doug Emhoff, who's not deeply appealing.
Who has sex with his nanny.
Right, and he's got these kids, and like the first time around, they brought out the stepkids a lot. They're not really bringing them out like that. So she doesn't have this sort of personal story to sell to make women interested in her.
But Kamala's also pushing the pro-choice thing, right? Mm-hmm. So she's going on a sex podcast, and her mind, she's thinking, okay, these women who watch this podcast, they're probably having reckless sex, and they're probably going to want abortions. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to push that.
Well, the thing is, too, it's disingenuous, too, because I'm sure Kamala Harris had many great Call Her Daddy type stories to share on the podcast. She could have talked about her relationships in San Francisco with different people. She had a lot of juice to give, but she didn't give any of that. She gave BS political answers. Well, instead of going on the Call Her Daddy podcast and talking about Call Her Daddy stuff, she shamed away from that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump went on the Whatever podcast? Because that's basically the equivalent. If Trump just went on
I disagree.
He's like, you ran through 304.
No, that's
That is
base.
totally, yeah.
No, that would be terrible. I don't think you should do that.
You're a ran through 304. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.